Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Parivar. Today is day 13. Smriti Swarup. Didi Man Mohini Baap Saman. Spiritual authority Shiv Shakti. My Smriti is spiritual authority and my Swarup is Shiv Shakti. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. Happy to see all of you. Everyone looks fine and well. This morning's Murli was so powerful. But as soon as I hear the words, Baba speaks about Smriti Swarup, I feel so good that our guide is with us. Our teacher is with us. Last Sunday, Murli was also on Smriti Swarup. Feels so good that whatever theme we decide for the month, all the Murlis are connected with that. And today when Baba said that Smriti is Samarthi, that's power, and how love and power should be equal. Baba's love makes us powerful. That's the difference between the love of a human being. But if we have love and power equal, then we can also help souls to be strong, to be powerful. So it was really, really beautiful to receive since morning the blessing of Bab Saman. If Baba, the way he's saying is so simple, right? So why we think it's very difficult or it's very high? Just keep thinking about Shiv Baba, Brahma Baba. Let our thoughts be like them, words like them, actions like them. And being children of Baba, the child is like father, right? Child is always like parents. When Baba was meeting with the souls who have given a piece of land for Yagya Seva, whether starting a Gita Patshala or class, I was reminded of few stories. In the beginning, in 1951-52, when some of Dadis came to Delhi, went to Bombay, then to few other cities. But I have experience of Delhi that the center I start going, we called it center, even it was a very small apartment. And in that apartment, in one room, somebody was living, one of Baba's child, and we will go in other room, will be the classroom. And whenever a sister came to stay, sometimes I also stayed with her, and we slept in classroom on the floor. And then in my family, we were at that time just 3 members, my locking mother, brother, and myself. So they asked us if they can connect classes also there. And we said, okay, it's fine. So one was bedroom, another one was classroom. And you all must have heard that Dadi Janki in Pune shares her stories that the place was so small. In one room was kitchen and bedroom, everything. So was a very, very little space where the center was. Outside that building, it was like a flat or apartment in the building. Outside that apartment, there was a big board, Brahma Kumari's Ishwari Vishwavidyalaya. So Vishwavidyalaya means university, right? And it's not even has full room. So Dari said she used to cook there, she used to sleep there. During lunchtime, morning or evening, when some souls have to come, she will clear all the space and they will come. That time it was rationing, so used to get very limited sugar. So she said she couldn't make toli for everyone. We'll make 2 extra chapatis, cut chapati into 4 pieces, and we'll have potato and put it in and roll it, make it, and keep 8 ready for anyone who came. Because since Brahma Baba's time, toli was always shared, but there was not enough to make toli. So she said they used to share that. So that was like beginning of service all over India, little by in certain cities it began, then other cities we got invitation. So this way service increased little by little with very small spaces. And then of course, people came to know, then more service, then we were able to rent the houses. So then we had bigger places. So then these days, how many and how big the centers are in India. But then again, when we came to London, I came in 74. It was a very small place called Tennyson Road. They still have it because Dadi doesn't like to sell the original places. She said they are our pilgrimage places. That's from where service began. At that time, actually, we were renting just 2 rooms. We didn't have more money, plus it was not easy. People won't give us for rent. So there was a room at the back, there was classroom and one more sitting room. Kitchen was there. So we were 4 in the beginning. Dadi, Jayanti Ben, myself, Dr. Nimla. First it was only Dr. Nimla, then I went because she had to leave because of her visa was expiring. And after that, Dadi Janki and Jayanti Ben came. So it was very, very small space. That's from where service began. And then number of students increased. But then it was not easy to find place. And of course, the money. It was very heavy rent. So there was a community center, about 10 minutes drive, where in the evening people will have activity. So it used to be all messy, all things all over. So early morning, some brothers, sisters will go clean the place, set up the place, and then we will go and have class. But that they have to do every morning. Because during day again, it was a community center, so lot of activity was there. So again they will clear. And I know I was in London for a while. Then I used to go very often. And then was Baba Bhavan, which you all must have visited. Quite elegant, bigger, but not very big. Then was Global Cooperation House. The numbers keep increasing, service keep increasing. And after that, Diamond House. So how the expansion took place. And also because Dadi had lot of love to feed Toli to everyone. She wanted to send Toli to Madhuban. She will send Toli to all of us. So there was a time that they made like 1,000 Toli. And Dadi loved it because few hundred were used in London and at many different places. So far when Baba says from 100,000, it was of course Dadi's renunciation, Dadi's tapasya. So expansion kept taking place. So whether it is space or, but also this Baba once said that service is not only through words, it has to be also through actions. I think you all must have experienced. I have experienced in London. We used to divide our assignment. We will cook lunch. Dr. Nimla myself with what she knows to make, what I make. We will sweep, we will mop every night, but also outside, in London. Like here, you have to go outside and clean. So in the beginning, I felt very shy because in India, we were not used to. But then everyone had to do it. So we all went out and sweep the whole pavement to keep our place very clean. Did also shopping. We will walk across few blocks to buy vegetables and fruits, and because everyone was busy there, have jobs and shops and their own families. So a lot of karma yoga. And I always love to wash the pots because I like not only clean pots but shining one. I remember in Queen Center, I used to wash pots but also wash the sink very, very beautifully. And the method is you put that powder, bleach powder, little bit, and hot water. And when you scrub it, all black, black, black comes out, starts shining. Sometimes when nobody is around, I try to do it here too because it has to shine. Baba's everything has to be clean and shining and beautiful. So we did earn that marks also must be 100% because it was quite a long time. And there, of course, I went to Caribbean. There was enough help there. Then we came to New York. Then again we went in New York. We had a very small apartment. One room we had beds. Another room we will, some used to sleep there, but then we will clean it, clear it. Sometimes if there are more students, then very small kitchen, but there was a dining table. Sister Gayatri will read morely there with one or two. I will read for bigger group. She will read one to one in the beginning. So we have seen how there are many, many who share their space with Baba. Of course, you heard that in London, Daddy said to everyone, you have to have Baba's room. One of the place I went a lot in London was Leicester. Very small house. There were two brothers, sister, and parents. So in the beginning, myself, Dr. Nimla, we both went. And we had bunker bed, right? So Nimla Ben will go up and I will sleep on the down one. Very small place. But their living room they gave for Baba's class. Baba's picture was there. And from there now, when you go, there's a big, big center has been constructed in Leicester. Very beautiful, very big, almost like global cooperation, but has more even minute details for storage and for everything. There is a room, better, lot improvement. So definitely when we share our space with Baba, Baba sustains us. And when Baba's home becomes bigger, then we also get big space, right, to stay. In New York also, as I mentioned, was very small apartment. Then we got one house, then we got Harmony House, then got Peace Village. Baba's service grew, but in the beginning, a lot of renunciation, sacrifice, all is very, very important too. And Karma Yoga. Because all the time you cannot just use your intellect, brain, and mind, right? But when you use your hands, your heart, one feels very light and very good. I always find remembrance of Baba is much easier while doing actions because you're remembering from heart with a lot of love, not only through intellect, because then you have to concentrate, you have to, it's different practices. While doing actions, you are creating elevated fortune. Not only that, but the matter, elements, body is part of elements, is also being served. And really best way to settle karmic accounts is that you serve in whatever way you can do. If you cannot do heavy work, you can do something lighter also. And my experience also is so much with the sweet surrender. I didn't realize how I got surrendered. So first we had apartment, then was house, then center moved there. Then Mama came, like gradually, I was like a surrendered sister. It was not like one day I left. Since childhood, belonging to Baba, I just felt anyway, I'm Baba's, and was able to surrender in a very gentle and sweet way. Of course, these days we have certificates, we have ceremonies, but in those days, everyone, those who surrender now, they will have their forms and form of commitment. I don't think I have any paper like that because there was so much love for Baba. And we know that sooner or later, our life is life, surrender life, right? And that is where alokik, I had lokiks, now I have a alokik relationship. So just remember what Baba said this morning, the last slogan I liked very much, that if you have feelings of being instrument, while taking responsibility, you will still remain light. So our lightness is very important. No burden of responsibility. So sweet surrender, all the marks of a karma yogi. I think all these points were, of course, speciality of Didi's, but how Didi's love also made us powerful. In love, she wouldn't like to see our weaknesses and will tell us in a very sweet way so that our weaknesses are removed and we become strong. Om Shanti.
We will have our Avyakti joy. Okay, welcome, Sister Gayatri.
Good evening, everyone, and day for our Smriti Swarup and featuring Didi ji. It will be my Smriti is spiritual authority and my Swarup is Shiv Shakti. Of course, Baba listens to us. Baba is curious about what we're thinking of, what we're churning on. And when he likes it, he engages with us too. So I think that, especially for this week, even though I'm saying it myself, he has been engaging a lot with Didi ji in her Smriti Swarup. And so today, for Didi, love for God was like a light within her heart that nothing and no one could extinguish. This light illuminated the beauty of her essence, the alokikta beauty, that subtle, sublime beauty of her essence. She never lost her dignity in God's eyes, in the eyes of her equals, and in the eyes of the family. Her spiritual authority emerged from her combined form of a Shiv Shakti. Let's listen to Bapdada speaking to Didi ji and describing to her the connection between authority, spiritual authority, and Shiv Shakti. Baba said to her, the specialty that has been portrayed in the images of Shaktis is that no impure soul is able to hide their sin when they are in front of the drishti of a Shakti. In the eyes and from the lips, that is, from the words of those who are constantly absorbed in the love of the Father, that is, in those who are merged in Baba's remembrance, others would see the almighty authority instead of seeing the form of the Shakti. This is because the Father is merged in their every word. Just as in the beginning of establishment of the Yajna, others constantly saw Sri Krishna in Brahma Baba, in the same way, the almighty authority would be visible in the Shaktis. The Father will be visible through those who are constantly in Baba's remembrance and have renounced the consciousness of I. Just as the Shaktis would have forgotten the consciousness of I, in the same way, others would not see their form, but would see the form of the almighty authority through them. Didiji's purity carried a profound simplicity of authority. Her dignity created an atmosphere of confidence and poise, assuredness. And her nobility was in her humble disposition of an effort maker. Her spiritual authority came from being what I call a Mahakali. A Mahakali means a destroyer of evil. So if I were to call Didi a goddess, I'd call her Mahakali, that incognito destroyer of evil. Sister Jayanti shares her experience of Didi. And it was very beautiful because Sister Jayanti was very close to Didi in many ways, because Didi was close to Dadi Janki. Sister Jayanti says, Didi's intellect was absolutely clean, clear, and sharp. She could see the masks people wore and was able to cut through them. She would share with them insights on what they needed to do in terms of their progress to move forward. Didi had spent a great deal of time with Brahma Baba, and so it was in her nature for her to think, what would Baba say? What would Baba do? This was automatic for her because her intellect was so clear that she could remember all the things Baba had said and Baba had done. She would then follow in those footsteps. When Didi would speak to someone, I could feel as if she was invoking Baba first, and in his presence, she would say whatever she needed to say to that person. When Didi would tell someone what they needed to pay attention to, they would take it with the dignity and grace with which Didi was speaking. They wouldn't react or be upset because they felt Didi's benevolence, that she wanted nothing but the best for them. They would take it to heart in that way. Didi once gave me a piece of advice, Sister Jayanti said, which protected me and helped me at all times. Didi said, don't connect souls to yourself. Connect them with someone higher than you and let them be responsible for their lives. That person who was higher than her would then help that person be responsible for their lives. If I have a pure, powerful thought, then Baba is watching and Baba knows what that thought is. I don't even have to say anything to anyone. Because if my thought is pure and powerful, then Baba sees it and Baba fulfills it. DDG's sweet voice stirs something ancient within us, reminding us of our capacity for the eternal. Let's listen to Didi's sweet words of wisdom.
हर बात की लिमिट चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारा ये बाकी जो जन्म है, दिव्य जन्म, वो है इसके लिए। तो कई जन्मों का संस्कार तो जो भरी है, और साथ में जो कई विक्रम बने हैं, इन सभी विक्रमों का विनाश करना है।
But there has to be a limit to everything. This is our divine birth, and this is what it's for. We have sanskars of many births, and also there have been many sinful actions, but it's now time to destroy those.
कैसे? जब अपनी अवस्था पर स्थित रहेंगे, कौन सी जो पहला बाबा का महावाक्य सुनाया, तो अकाल तख्त पर विराजमान रहो।
And how will that happen? It will happen according to the first words that I shared, to remain present on the immortal throne.
और थोड़ा सा जो सूक्ष्म वतन है, वहां से थोड़ा समय उतर करके, समय भी नहीं, ऐसा त्रिलोकीनाथ है तो उनका सैर हो, तो जैसे कि तीनों ही लोगों का सैर हम इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं।
And for that, come down from the subtle region for a short period of time. But it's not even a question of coming down for a short period. Let there continuously be the tour of the three worlds, because you are Trilokinath, and so keep going around the three worlds.
अभी अभी शांत अवस्था मिली तो मूल वतन, अभी जैसे ऐसे महसूस होगा जैसे हर एक सेकंड जैसे ये प्रैक्टिस हो जाए।
When you experience the stage of peace, it will be as if you're in the supreme region, and every second that passes by, there will be that experience.
अभी सूक्ष्म वतन, अभी स्थूल वतन, कोई आया, 2 मिनट बात की, ज्यादा समाचार भी नहीं सुनना है, ज्यादा क्या थोड़ा भी नहीं, जिसमें कोई जरूरत है तो 2 शब्दों में उस वृत्ति और दृष्टि से, जैसे कि उसकी निवृत्ति उन संकल्पों से कर दी।
Then you come down to subtle region and then the corporeal region. If someone comes, you need to speak to them a few words, then you do that. But actually, it is not even necessary to speak a few words. Whatever it is, let it be done in the least time possible. Let there be just some thoughts to share.
I find myself just being drawn so much into Didi's voice, I could almost spend all night listening to her. So now for our homework. And so for Amrit Vela, we're going to be focusing on Mam Ekam Yad Karo. And that is remember me alone, but not just a remembrance as remembrance, but a remembrance to be absorbed in Baba's love. So remember me alone and be absorbed in my love. And we are going to reaffirm our Smriti Swarup. My Smriti is spiritual authority, and my Swarup is Shiv Shakti. And then during the day, we will do what Didi asked of us, to speak less. So let us tomorrow, as a Shiv Shakti, that means the combined form with Shiv Baba, let us speak less, let it speak softly, and let it speak only when necessary. And then tomorrow night, we will reflect on, as she said, be seated on the immortal throne of the soul and be seated as a Shiv Shakti. Think that my spiritual authority emerge in the power of the words that I speak. Then I'm going to reflect on my day and ask myself the question, how did I manage my words today? Were they full of power? But let us just revisit our reflection for tonight, which came from our Smriti Swarup of Sweet Surrender and Lighthouse. The Smriti of Sweet Surrender we did today, and the Swarup of being a lighthouse. So before we sleep tonight, we will reflect on, as a lighthouse, I illuminated specialties. Let me note the impact left inside of me from doing this elevated act. And now let us together go into our collective remembrance. And let us look at being. Of course, we have done the Sweet Surrender and the Lighthouse today, but then we are moving into tomorrow. And so let us also look at our Shiv Shakti and the spiritual authority. And let us really, truly be together collectively in the remembrance of Baba as we look at this Smriti Swarup and how Didi embodied it. So let's have the video now of our collective yoga.
यही है तमन्ना बने बाबा तुम सा चले साथ घर को घड़ी ऐसी आए यही है तमन्ना बने बाबा तुम सा
यही है तमन्ना
कितनी परवश किया है, कितना छत्र छाया में पालना दी है। अब बाबा रिटर्न जर्नी चाहते हैं।
He has sustained us so much, he has given us so much, and now Baba wants us to give something in return.
तो इसलिए बुद्धि योग की बड़ी गहराई है। देखो, बाबा की याद तरफ अटेंशन है। अगर कोई संकल्प भी आया, कोई वाचा भी रही, कोई कर्म भी रहा, तो ऐसी गहराई में जाकर के देखो तो जैसे कि उस समय कनेक्शन कट हो गया।
The yoga of the intellect is very deep, whilst paying attention to remembrance. If there isn't a right kind of thought, or if there's some kind of words or action that is not right, then my connection with Baba is cut.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, we had deep silence, we had deep experiences.